All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division where a member of Terence Crawford's team made an admission about Errol Spence Jr. and something that Errol Spence Jr. did wrong and affected him in the fight that he had with Terence Crawford, and can give Errol Spence Jr. fans a little hope that when we see this rematch coming up in 2024, that the outcome may be different. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division. It is the end of the year, and we gave out on this channel a lot of awards without trophies, but just on a Twitter post. You know how it works. It's social media. And one of the ones that the biggest one that there is, I think, in boxing is fair enough to say is the Fighter of the Year. And for me, the Fighter of the Year is Terence Bud Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska, based off what he did in his fight against Errol Spence Jr. And I think that that there are arguments for other people. There are arguments for Monster Inoue. There's arguments for Gervonta Davis. There's arguments for, some people say David Benavidez. Some people say Devin Haney. But for me, it's Terence Crawford because of the level of a fighter that Terence Crawford beat, and the fact that everyone had been waiting on that fight for so long, and there was such a great amount of anticipation for what was going to take place, and the fact that that Terence Crawford won in such a decisive manner. Now, that is telling you what I think about Terence Crawford. Now I'm going to tell you that I think you could best call that his nutrition advisor, the controversial Victor Conte, made a statement about Errol Spence and how Errol Spence made a really big mistake going into the fight. Now, we've talked about that before, but we had not heard this specific thing from a team member of Terence Crawford's. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does make a huge difference to the channel. Thank you to my guy, Matty Yo, for always supporting like that. Also, I had to write a name down for the other guy. I'm sorry, Arce Powell. Shout out to Arce Powell for the big support that you did in the super thanks. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into this. Errol Spence Jr. had, when he got to Las Vegas, ran up, did a 3-mile run into the mountains when the heat was somewhere around 110 degrees, and it was a very dry heat in Las Vegas. And what Victor Conte said was that caused a lot of weakness in his body because he wasn't acclimatized to that, and it could cause, a severe reaction in your body. Now, this is not the first time somebody has talked about that run. We brought it up right after the fight, so that particular portion of it's not new. However, when you couple what Victor Conte is saying with the fact that people were talking about that right after the fight, and what Virgil Hunter, the former trainer for Andre Ward, several other fighters, Amir Khan, said before the fight took place about how Errol Spence Jr. was training in Dallas, Texas, in a what he called it, it was high heat, but it was high humidity, and how he would be making that shift to go to Las Vegas, and that could cause him a lot of problems because he was going from high moist heat to high dry heat, and that could cause a disruption in his body. And this is something that Virgil Hunter had said a long time, weeks before the fight actually took place. So what wound up happening is when he, at least according to Victor Conte and other people, when he goes up and he starts doing these runs and it's very, very close to the fight, causes problems, his body, all kind of problems. And then you add to the fact that he had something that with some type of rib injury that took place, that where he had to cut weight, and the reason why he couldn't spar to cut weight. So if you can't spar to cut weight for several weeks out before the fight, then your timing is thrown off. Then you have to dehydrate by running. So all kind of, man, it just seemed like a very unfortunate situation for Errol Spence. And then, but that begs the question as to why did Errol Spence Jr. get in the ring like that? Right now, people, you can say excuses all you want. That's not going to erase. You're not going to erase what people are out there saying. That's what they're saying. That's what Terence Crawford's own team, people associated with Terence Crawford's team, is saying. So it is what it is, man. Things happen. People get injured. People make bad decisions and come into the fight and they fight at less than 100%, right? But the question would be, is for me, is why would Errol Spence Jr. do that? Why wouldn't he just postpone the fight? I think that the answer comes in the other series of unfortunate events that have taken place for Errol Spence Jr. over the last few years. So you take, for example, he had a car accident and he was out for 2 years. And then he gets in, right? He fights Danny Garcia. Then he is supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, and he gets a torn retina, right? So torn retina, the Manny Pacquiao fight is off. He's delayed then. Then he fights Yordenis Ugas, beats Yordenis Ugas, goes into the Terence Crawford negotiations. Then as that's going, Terence Crawford pulls out of the fight on him, so that's a delay. Then it's likely he can get another fight, don't know who that is with. And it winds up that he gets in a small car accident and he gets injured and has to postpone it yet again. I think more than likely the fact that all of those postponements means fewer checks coming in, that Errol Spence Jr. thought, I got a rematch clause. I got this money, this big money that's going to come in. Let me get this money. And it winds up being a payday, according to most people, of over $30 million. So enough to set him and his family for the rest of their lives if they weren't already there. But I don't think that you can discount the fact that when you've only had one fight in 2 years, or two fights in like 4 years, and you have expenses, that you got to get your money. You got to get an inflow of cash, right? And I remember him even talking one time about his wife getting him into real estate. And he was thinking to himself, yeah, I'm buying this real estate, but all his money's going out, no money coming in. Hey man, you get yourself in a situation, depending on your cost of living, where you got to get in that ring, you got to earn that living. So I'm pretty sure that that's why he went about doing that. Also, or that's a good reason for him to do it regardless. And then, of course, you have the rematch that he wants to go right back into. Again, you got to get your money. But hopefully this time, for his sake, it will not be a series of unfortunate events. If he was dehydrated or whatever it was that came from that run, that he will have worked that out. He will acclimate himself better, acclimatize himself better to Las Vegas, if that's where the fight winds up being, and doesn't get injured and all of those other things, and he can come in full strength. Because even then, it's going to be a tough situation trying to beat Terence Crawford. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.